Well, here we have two little new male rats. At the back there you see Freddy Bear, and at the front is Barney Bear. Now they are 9 months old. We have been trying to rehome them for our animal charity for a few weeks. We weren't really getting anywhere because the boys are 9 months old. They're very nervous, especially Freddy Bear there. He's terribly nervous. Barney Bear, not quite so bad. And really they weren't suitable for new owners with no experience of rats. I couldn't find anyone else who might want to take them on. Hey Barney Bear. Barney Bear. Oh boy. And there you go, Freddy Bear. Yes, sorry, wiggling the camera about there. Not very coordinated today. So yes, we decided in the end we'll bring them here to our home and try and work with them and see exactly how nervous they are. And we realised, you know, very quickly they are nervous. They're quite nervous. They've hardly been handled. The young man who bought them, he didn't do a terrible lot of research before he got his rats. He just sort of saw them and fell in love with them, and that's something that happens very often. But he admitted that, you know, he couldn't get them out because he had several dogs at home, one of them a terrier, and terriers and rats don't go too well together. We've had to rehome a few. Here you go, darling, where are you? You can't see me. These are sugar-free flakes from rat rations. Hey, Barney Bear, do you want one? Sorry, darling. Try not to shake my hand, because if you move your hand then the rats are more likely to nibble because they're trying to chase the food. So it's very important. Not good for me with shaky hands anyway, but just try not to move your hands suddenly, and if the rat does grab hold of your hands, it's always best not to pull away. The first instinct is to pull away, but you'll end up with ripped skin, badly ripped skin. So anyway, no sudden movements, no sudden noises, keep everything nice and calm with nervous rats. So anyway, my son, who'd said don't get any more because your health isn't as good and we don't want to do cleaning cages and everything, as soon as he saw these rats, my son said, and I'm just going to get Barney Bear another flake. There you go, darling. Can't see you. There you go. There you go, Freddy Bear. There you go. Need to be a contortionist to get into this cage. So then my son saw them and he said, no, they're going to need too much work to go to someone else. By the time you have them tamed up, perfectly socialised, they will be so used to us and it will put them back, and the new person would have to start all over again. And I do agree with him. So my son was very insistent, we will keep these rats here. So here they are to stay. Now, I said they are 9 months old, so that puts them in the same age bracket as all of our other rats. So that means bad news for me when they all get old at the same time, because I will be, you know, getting upset because, I'm sorry, I'm wiggling everywhere. There you go, good boy. Not too many brown flakes because they are high fibre. It will be bad news for me when they all get old and sick at the same time, because we will have 8 rats all within a few months of each other getting very old at the same time. So they did originally come from a big UK pet shop, not always known for the best of health, but they do seem incredibly healthy and they have been cared for. The young man who owned them, he did care very much. He was very insistent that we found a really good home for them and that we didn't just let them go to anyone. I'm just going to shut the door a minute because I don't want them to have any more brown flakes, and I don't want them to come out on the floor because while I'm filming, not that they're likely to go running very far, but if they do come out and I haven't got the area cordoned off, we will probably lose little Freddy Bear under the cupboard. And what I do when I want to handle them at night is I'll sit with the cage door open, put a towel on my knee, have my toothbrush handy, my soft toothbrush, so I can stroke their backs. I can stroke Barney Bear. Freddy Bear is very, very nervous. But they're so friendly and inquisitive and very, very healthy. Now this cage they're in is It's a Savick Freddy Max 2. It's the same cage that I showed you last or a couple of weeks ago that I had bought for Matilda and her girls. Now this one doesn't have any platforms in. It did come with platforms, the green platforms and ladders, but the man who owned them said that they just sort of use it as a toilet. It gets very smelly, so he took them out. And these boys are very, very active for 9-month-old males. They're still extremely active. They're very fit and good weight. They're very muscular because they have just been climbing and climbing. Now when we got them, they had a few toys and things. They had a rope, and at this top corner all they had was one of the small green hammocks that come with the cage, but it got a bit chewed. Wasn't really big enough for the boys now they're fully grown. It's like they're just jumping onto the cargo nets. So I obviously quite happy to leave the shelves out for now and let them have lots of climbing. I will put the platforms in as they get older, but I wanted to make the cage a lot safer and a lot more fun. So the first thing we did was got onto Sabby at the Rat Warehouse and got some of these lovely corner hammocks. Now I bought a couple of ready-made hammocks, and then I asked Sabby could she make me some up, which she did really quickly, because my favourite colours from the Rat Warehouse are the pink, the berry or purple, and my favourite print is the pirate print. So I got Sabby to make up some more corner hammocks. Also got some for my other boys, and in this cage I've got a couple of the flat XL hammocks, one in the berry and one there with the pink and the pirate. And then I've put lots of cargo nets. I've put them all the way down so there's things to scramble up. It also is a little bit of a safety net for them, but it makes it a lot more interesting than just going up the bars. They have a rope there which is a Pets at Home rope. It's not the original one because the connectors broke on the original one, so I bought them a new one. And there they've got a couple, this side, a couple of big Pets at Home cargo nets. You have to excuse my floor at the moment. I haven't hoovered and I've just been cleaning out cages, so my floor's a bit messy, but I wanted to do my filming before we lost the light. Now also, they don't have a house at the moment. I have bought them a Savick cocoon, but down there, and there is a cardboard tube, a medium-sized cardboard tube, and they've got some softness shredded paper. They've got a little nibble garland, but they've also got loofah toys and carrots and all sorts of wood chews. But the hanging toys, Mr. Barney Bear here, has pulled down, and they're all buried. Aren't they, little Mr. Man? Now, why are they called Fred and Barney? They didn't have names, they were just called Ratties. And that's fine, they came to Ratties. But obviously, I like to give all rats a name. And we currently had a new book which was called The Flintstones. It's a graphic novel. Fred and Barney feature in there. And so I sort of called them Fred and Barney just to give them a name, because I think if I'm rehoming rats, it's always nice to give them a name, even if that's not the name the new owner's going to use. It just makes it more, this is a rat and he's a real little person rat and his name is Fred and his name is Barney, rather than just Rat A and Rat B. I just think it's nicer. So we were calling them Fred and Barney before they even arrived. And then my son said, well, maybe we'll call them Frederick and Barnabas. I can't get my head around all these names, all these similar names. So that's what my son was going to call them. And then I just changed it to Freddy Bear and Barney Bear, or Fred Bear and Barney Bear, because they're like little bears. And you can see here, little Freddy Bear, he's on a goatee, but look how red he is. He's beautiful. Yeah, beautiful boy. Yeah. So, I'm not sure if I showed you, but round the corner here, I've got a Cosybedsandburrows little hanging hammock, which are lovely, make lovely platforms. So I think the cages come out really nicely. So you don't have to have the actual plastic shelves and ladders and platforms and things. You can make a cage interesting and safe. Obviously, yes, we stopped using fleece for our girls because within 5-10 minutes of a hammock being in the house, they would completely shred it. But these boys have been incredibly good. I I think there's one or maybe one or two tiny exploratory nibbles of the fabric on the first day. Nothing much, no real damage, and they just do not eat their hammocks, and so it's so nice to be able to have nice hammocks again, good quality. It brightens up the cage, which is obviously for us, not for the rats. But there you go. So we have two new little boy rats who will be staying, and we have the other 4 boys who we were hoping to rehome with people that we knew, to try and get Matilda's son back with, I think where have they all gone? Trying to get Matilda's son back either with his brother or his dad. But so far we haven't had a reply, so they're still here. And that's it really. Lovely cage, nice boys. Going to take a lot of work, but they're lovely characters. And Barney, he really reminds me, if you remember, our lovely rat Daisy. And we had Molly, who was also the same colour. Hello, handsome boy. Look at him. Anyway, Freddy Bear's gone into his little cardboard tube. I will leave these boys investigating and go and hoover up the mess. And luckily they're used to things like hoover. They're not worried about household noises. It's just really those sudden unexpected noises. And when I do hoover, I always tell the rats that the hoover's going to go on. It may sound crazy, but they do associate the word hoover with noise. But that's it for now then, and I'll be back with some more news soon. Now let's see, little Barney Bear's having a little bit of a scratch today, and we have just bought a mite treatment, so we have got some ivermectin, so we're going to be treating all the rats. Now, when they first arrived, none of them were scratching. They're absolutely fine. I think that Barney is just having a clean because he's got no scabs and no scratch marks, so I think that's just him having a clean, but we are having to treat the other group of boys. But yeah, I think it might be I've just put some new bedding in as well. He sometimes has a little scratch, but we will keep an eye on that. We don't routinely treat all of our rats all of the time, only if we actually have evidence of mites. Hello. You got an extra bran flake, because obviously we don't want to over treat for mites. But there we go. Where's Freddy Bear gone? Now you see, he's the dominant. It's really strange. Come on, Barney. Good boy. Freddy's the more shy boy when it comes to us, but he's the dominant of the rats, and he's regularly stealing poor Barney's food. So not much I can do about that, just make sure that Barney doesn't miss out. But anyway, I must go and clean my messy house up, and we'll be back with some more news soon.